you hear anthrax, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Yeah.
Poison.
Al-Qaeda.
Exactly. The media has led us to believe that anthrax comes in a powder form, typically mailed to our politicians and local post offices in an envelope. But according to Dr. Hugh Jones in The Ecology of Bacillus anthracis in 2009, anthrax was actually a spore-forming bacteria that resides in calcium-rich and alkaline soils of hot, dry, climated regions such as Australia, Africa, and the southern U.S. It is considered a hot season disease as these weather conditions cause a limited innate immune system in our livestock populations. After the spores are deposited into the soil, evidence has shown that they may remain dormant and viable for more than 100 years. Also, according to Dr. Hugh Jones in Anthrax and Wildlife of 2002, anthrax may date back to 1491 BC, where it's alluded to in the Bible as the 5th and 6th plagues of Egypt. However, the first documented outbreaks of anthrax were in the mid-19th century of sub-Saharan Africa, when farmers began to domesticate livestock for farming purposes. The Great Livestock Migration of the late 19th and early 20th centuries led to outbreaks worldwide in regions that were not typically affected by anthrax. These outbreaks led anthrax to being the second leading cause of livestock death behind controlled slaughter. Anthrax typically affects ruminant herbivores such as deer, elk, and cattle as they graze on soils that are affected by the spores. Another method of infestation is insect inoculation, as livestock are bit by biting flies and mosquitoes. Carnivores may be infected as they consume contaminated products such as meats and water, thus making anthrax a zoonotic disease, considering it can be transferred from species to species. Symptoms of anthrax are difficult to detect as there is only a 24 to 48 hour incubation period. Dr. Mongo, in a review of management practices for the control of anthrax in animals in 2008, stated that death is the most common symptom seen in livestock populations. In rare cases, mostly human, lesions and excessive bleeding may be noticed. However, if these have begun to form, treatment is unnecessary as it's too late. Dr. Mongo also reviewed the Stern vaccine, which was developed in 1923 as an intravenous vaccination to our domesticated species to prevent contamination from outside sources. However, wild herds are difficult to vaccinate because it's hard to contain them to provide the intravenous vaccination. So quarantine methods in the United States have been used to prevent spread. However, recent outbreaks in the United States in the past 20 years have become possible due to imported livestock species from countries that do not have the quarantine methods. So as you've seen here, anthrax is not just a biological weapon of warfare. It is actually a spore that we walk around and have in our everyday lives and should be prevented with the proper measures. Thank you.